We're at Highland Campus Drive and Jacob Fontaine, I think, Road, right? And right back there are the new MBPT studios and classrooms. Let's take a tour and take a look. All right, once again, we're gonna take a look here. Here we are. That's sort of north. I think that's culinary arts, I don't know. We'll have good eats. All right, we're gonna head over to the stairs. We're gonna go underneath, and that's how we're gonna go in. It's a beautiful campus, really nice. None of it is done. All right, the studios are built, but there are a lot of stuff still to be connected and installed and finished up. There you go. It's looking pretty cool. By the way, this is called the Paseo. All right, stairs, and there is a little place where we can hang out. Like I said, there'll be lots of yummy food. We're going in that building right there. There'll be somebody to take care of me, take my temperature, make sure I'm okay to go in. See you soon. All right, take a look. Music, business, performance, technology, and RTF, we're all together. That's a good thing. Yummy. Here we are at the entrance to Studio A and B, and C for that matter. But I want you to notice something here. I don't know how much you can see this with this video, but notice that the floor there, the floor goes up. Same thing over here. It actually goes up. That means those floors are floated. Here we are in the machine room. It's not storage. It's a machine room. This is where all the cool stuff is. We've got network switches, which is going to run our Dante network. Again, the Dante network is the where we're going to shuttle audio, digital audio, throughout our facility. All right, that's the new way of doing things. So that's the switch. All right. We've got a lot of cool networking stuff over here. Got an audio patch base. This interface here is this Avid thing here is our digital to analog converter, or if you want to call it an interface, for our studio. I can't remember whether it's Studio B or Studio A, but that's what that is. All right. It's actually not an Avid unit. It's actually made by Digital Audio Denmark, one of the, maybe the best digital audio company in the world. This thing here with the flashing lights is our hearback system. This is a headphone system. It's called the More-Me headphone system. It allows musicians, every musician or artist will have their own personal mixer, and they can make their own headphone mix, so they can leave us alone, and we can concentrate on engineering. They can make the mix that they want. Right? We have another one of those units right here. Right? We also have some other stuff that's kind of interesting. Some of this stuff is going to be used for the AV system in each one of the rooms. Studio A and B both have projectors and lighting, so we can teach in there, right? And that's what this is. It's going to control all that stuff, right? These two things here are Sync HD units. They actually allow us to do audio for video with our Pro Tools system. It keeps our audio in sync with the video. This is really cool. They're not necessary, but in a pro studio, you'll definitely see them. So we want you guys to get that experience. So when you go get a job, start making some money, you can quit your crappy job and do something that you like. You'll know how to use those things there. Down here, we've got a super duper Mac, Mac Pros. All right. Here's another one. One of them Studio A, one of them Studio B. They'll get another, I guess, for the Foley room. More of the same kind of stuff. This is Studio A's live room. There's the piano that we had at Northridge. right? Decent sounding piano. Diffusers on the wall, right? And we've got diffusers everywhere. That's an ISO booth right there. Look at all these diffusers. There's the control room, right? Speakers in the live room, so we can have people in here without headphones and they can still hear us talking to them. Right? Look at these. There's diffusers all the way up there, again, to scatter the sound. These panels, you'll notice, they are also at angles. We don't want them parallel to the floor. Really cool. Made out of wood. There's a drum kit. Guitars and amps. There's some gobos that the acoustics class built long ago. We drug those over from... That's awesome. There's got to be a light switch or something. Well, this is an ISO booth. It's unfinished, completely untreated. Got a lot of work to be done in this room here, but it's a kind of a cool room. Then we're going to go into this ISO booth over here. This is a large ISO booth. Maybe a drum kit could go in here. Again, also unfinished, untreated. Pretty soon it'll be ready to go. Right, Studio A. Here we are in control room A. Let's go on in and take a look. Look at this beautiful room. Got a bunch of speakers stuff. Of course, everything is still in disarray, but that's all right. They're fixing it. Diffusers in the back. Diffusers on the side. And that's to scatter the sound. We can control the ambience. We don't want it completely dead. This is the 5088 from Northridge campus. Brought it right over. It's a big old subwoofer. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Again, diffusers scatter the sound. If we look up here, we have these panels up here on the ceiling. The idea is that the speaker, the sound from the speaker might end up reflecting off something up there. But rather than random reflections, we're going to control those reflections. Those panels are at an angle. When the reflection from the speaker hits that thing, it's going to careen back to the back to that diffuser there. Let's take a look at some of the stuff in the rack. So we got some vintage style Neve-like mic preamps, API, and API. These are mic preamps. These two things are Eventide delays. Pretty cool. I haven't played with any of these two yet. Be fun to check them out. Two distressors, compressors, a wonderful Brascosti unit. That's a reverb unit. Probably one of the best made nowadays. I love them. There's another 500 series rack with the SSL compressor. Neve, AMS Neve compressor, and Legia. I love Legia stuff. 560 graphic EQs. 550B parametric EQs, semi-parametric EQs, sort of. And then another AMS Neve compressor. All right. Now, AMS Neve is different from Rupert Neve Designs. This is Rupert Neve Designs. This is AMS Neve. Ask your instructor about how that happened. This is an LA2A. You'll see it pretty much in any decent studio. This is a Summit mic preamp. It's a vacuum tube base or valve. An 1176 compressor. Awesome stuff. Some DBX compressors. Those are pretty cool. And these two things here are the analog to digital and digital to analog converters. Some people call them interfaces. These things take music and turns it into the ones and zeros, right? these things are connected to the computer in the machine room, and they're connected via Ethernet, right? The cool thing about that is it's routable. We can send this anywhere, right? Just using basically software, right? So we can route it anywhere in the facility. It can go to any room. This can go to B, you can go to D, any of the other rooms. It's pretty cool. And it can also receive from any room. Pretty fantastic. Big old patch bay. Big old speakers. Genelecs. Avantones for the little speakers there. And again, that wonderful Neve 5088. Control room A. This is Studio B's live room. Let's go on in. Those things you see there are diffusers. What they do is to scatter the sound. Instead of having a flat wall where the sound might reflect off the wall and come right back into a microphone and into our ears, what this does, when sound strikes that diffuser, it'll careen off into a different direction. All right? And these diffusers are everywhere. Take a look. Pretty cool. Hmm? Even up there. They're everywhere. And if we look up even higher, attached to the ceiling are these panels here. And those panels are at angles. They're at angles designed so the sound, when it reflects off those panels, they don't come straight down. They're angles so the sound hits it and strikes it and careens off to the side and then hits one of those diffusers over there and then shoots off in different directions. This gives us ambience, but controlled ambience. Notice we have a speaker there and a speaker there. And those are so we can talk to the artists in this room here, and they don't have to have necessarily their headphones on. Speaking of headphones, this is the headphone mixer. We can hear, I think it's Huey Lewis. That is a More-Me mixer. And what we do is we send all the important stuff that they need to see to these different channels, like kick drum, snare, bass, guitar, whatever it is that we want to have there, and they decide how loud they want that in their headphones. Super cool rig. These are very popular nowadays. Here we are in control room B. Still in a little bit of disarray here. Diffusers to scatter the sound on the back wall. Diffusers there on the side walls to scatter the sound. Again, we're trying to control the ambience. Big old speakers. Enormous subwoofer down there. The outboard gear is basically just like Studio A. There's our converters or interface, compressors. 500 series rack. With an SSL compressor. Neve compressor, Inlesia EQ, 560s, 550Bs, AMS Neve compressor, LA2A, a tube mic preamp from Summit Audio, an 1176. This stuff is everything in this studio is standard issue for any decent studio, any professional decent studio. Vintage Neve-like mic preamps. API, Eventide delays, API mic preamps, distressors, compressors, and of course the Bricasti reverb unit, the wonderful Bricasti reverb unit. This is an SSL AWS 948. Solid state logic, AWS 948, pretty cool board. It can function as an analog console or a control surface. Remember, control surface acts like a big mouse that controls the faders in Pro Tools or Cubase or Ableton or whatever, right? So with a push of a button, it's a control surface, and then with a push of a button, it goes back to being an analog console. And of course, we've got the wonderful SSL compressor, stereo bus compressor right there, just like the one in the rack. This is Studio B. Pretty cool. And that's Alessio. So this, in the control room, in Studio B's control room, if you look through this side window here, you'll see through there is the rehearsal space, right? So the ACC music department ensembles will be rehearsing in that, in there. And there's audio lines and Dante lines that will actually go into all the other rooms, right? So they can be in there rehearsing and we can record them. Pretty cool. Look at that room. Pretty awesome. Here we are at Studio D. Studio D is a smallish control room. There has no live room connected to it. Remember, all this is going to be Dante enabled, so we can actually record. We can have a band in a different room, and over the Dante network, we can record in this room right here. This is Studio D with a smallish 16-channel Rupert Neve Designs 5088. Right? Penthouse with mic pre's, EQs, the channel section. Right? Over here we have some effects units. Some of these, for some of you, these would look familiar. Right? This is a headphone thing, this Behringer thing. Time-based effects, like chorusing, reverb, more time-based effects. This red unit here is the analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter for our system here. This thing takes music, turns it into ones and zeros, and sends them to the computer over there. Right? This thing actually uses Ethernet instead of USB or Thunderbolt. Very interesting. And what's so cool about this is because it uses Ethernet, it can send a recording anywhere in the building, or we can receive a recording from anywhere in the building. It's pretty cool. Nice patch bay there. Again, we got some cool outboard gear here. We've got some gates. Got some 2 compressors, some just another Jeff Daking compressors, and then some DBX compressors there. Graphic EQ. A vintage Neve style mic preamp, an API mic preamp, EQs, Elysia compressor, and EQ. These are phenomenal. All this stuff is great, but I love Elysia stuff. All right, here we are in the Foley studio. Right now, Foley is are noises that human beings make for movies, right? Footsteps, clothes sounds, all that sort of stuff. It's basically our sound effects room. Okay, so look at here. We got diffusers here, right? Again, to scatter the sound. More diffusers here to scatter the sound. This is in the back of the room. These speakers are going to be mounted here pretty soon. Look at that enormous subwoofer. It's that's a Mondo. I think it's an 18-incher. Right. There's the window there. Right. There's a panel there that will probably end up getting moved, but again, that's to reflect the sound of the speakers that gets up there, reflect it to the back of the room, so we can actually hit this diffuser back here. That's the idea. And again, the diffuser scatters the sound, so we don't get a hard reflection. We get ambience, but controlled ambience. This device down here is a Avid S6, and that's the control surface. It's not a mixer. It's like a big mouse. It actually controls the software mixer, right? This fader here has no audio. This fader here controls the fader that's in the software. It also can work with not only Pro Tools, but it'll work with Cubase, Logic, Ableton. Right? This is like the high-end dude. It's awesome. Pretty cool. This sort of little iPad-like thing. Right? We can do some more control. Right? Still needs to be finished. This is the Foley live room. Again, in a state of getting fixed. But down here are pits. These are pits where we're gonna have cabbage, lettuce, carrots, glass, rocks, all sorts of different things. Right? That's where all our stuff is gonna be. Pretty cool. It's a very dead room, no reverb. Right? So when we do audio for a movie, we can actually apply our own ambience to it. What was that, hiding from Dan? What?
If he hadn't finished his assignment, this is his hiding spot. But now you know where it is, so oh well.
So that's the Foley pit. That's where the lettuce goes, right?
Lettuce, broken glass, sand, rocks, whatever we want.
Kind of freaky.
Yeah.
All right, here we are at Studio F. There's going to be 4 rooms just like this, or similar, right? And there's going to be a smallest room, reasonably well treated. The acoustics classes are probably going to have to do some stuff over here, right? But we have acoustic treatment on the walls. Looks like there's a little whiteboard there, right? And that's a subwoofer, a Genelec subwoofer. It probably needs to be moved somewhere else, right? And then here we've got 2 Slate Ravens, right? Which are control surfaces. They're like virtual control surfaces, touch screens, and it'll actually allow us to control, believe it or not, Pro Tools by touching the screen. Pro Tools, Cubase, Logic, Ableton, they'll all work with this stuff here. Super duper new Mac, some Genelec speakers, and a Focusrite, a small Focusrite Scarlett interface for the computer. This is Studio, I believe, F. 4 of them just like this.